Hi there, this is Dylan Harris from the band Superloser. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be sitting down with my good friend Justin Jones on his brand new podcast, The Rogue and the Famous, to be talking about Superloser's brand new album and just catching up on life. So with that, I hope you enjoy. Meow.
Hello, gormandizers of everything and anything music. This is the first episode of a new podcast, The Rogue and Famous. And I am your humble host for tonight, Justin Jones of the rock and roll band Rogue fame. And here we have the CEO, the lead singer, and the sole proprietor of the indie rock band Superloser. He is known as Dylan Harris.
Justin Jones.
Yeah.
Justin Jones.
Dylan Harris. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Before we start rolling, I was just telling you, this is my first thing I've done with Superloser since June. Damn. So, I guess I'm back. I don't know.
You never left. You've been alive. You're here.
Yeah.
You're here.
I guess. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're going to be talking about is actually the new record that you sent me. You haven't released it yet.
Yeah.
But I got a little taste test of every single song on the record.
Yeah. The album's called One Word.
One Word. Ironically, that's 2 words.
Yeah. It'll be out November 7th. Probably by the time this is all edited, it'll be out. So it'll be on your favorite streaming service.
Pornhub.
Nah. Maybe 5 years ago, but today, no.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can start, the questions with the album and the songs and stuff.
Yeah.
I actually was curious as to why you'd call it One Word. What does that mean to you?
One Word's kind of the tongue-in-cheek response to our name, actually. People always think Superloser's 2 words. It's 1 word.
Oh, yeah. I thought about things like that, too.
Yeah. So I meant it as kind of like a tongue-in-cheek response, and it's also kind of an ironic twist because, like, on the album cover itself, it looks like 2 words. Like, the way it's split up at Superloser, and they're stacked on top of each other. Jamie Soleimani from Glorbo, they designed it, and it was really just simplistic, and I loved it. And it really kind of tied into, like, that tongue-in-cheek response. Oh, Superloser's 1 word, but what are we doing? We got it double stacked here, you know?
Yeah.
So... so that was kind of the origin of the name of the record. It was a tongue-in-cheek kind of deal, really just innocent, playful type vibe.
Yeah. I feel like that's some of my favorite name, calling like that. It's just a little play on words.
Yeah.
Because then most audience members probably wouldn't even really notice and be like, oh, 1 word.
Yeah, and it's also kind of a mind game too because of the way it's split up, and then underneath it's the parentheses 1 word, and even the album title it's 2 words, so it's just like nice little mind game there.
Gonna bounce around.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in high school, I kept getting corrected for using the wrong your, because there's like you are and there's like your.
Yeah.
And the way you figure out is just like it's you. OU and then the ARE, like if you are something.
Mm-hmm.
So on purpose, I wrote a punk rock song called You Are.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Up Yours, actually. That's what it's called. But I put like Up Yours, but spelled it the wrong way on purpose, like a dumbass.
That's hilarious. Working at a school now, man, I get that a lot. So it's like.
Oh yeah, you gotta be like, no, it's the other one.
Right.
And you're like the asshole.
I've become that guy who just corrects students for.
Yeah, my friend bullied me for years. He kept putting the star thing after, through texting. It's like your.
Yeah,
I'm like, whatever, dude.
I had a buddy like that who would do that, and it was so annoying because we'd be in like talking about something and it would get heated, and he would just be like your. I'm like, that's not important right now.
Yeah, friends really know how to push your buttons. The same friend does that thing where I'll be like, oh, I'll see you tomorrow. Like, we'll talk in the PS4 party, but it's nighttime, right? But it'll be like 1 a.m. He's like, oh, you mean today? And I'm like, this fucking guy. Come on, dude. Anyways, back to business right now. How long did it take you to make this record?
Honestly, there's songs on this record that I wrote back when I was 17. Like, It's Getting Harder, it's one of my oldest songs, actually. That song I wrote at 17, and it was originally a demo for my first band, and it never got anywhere with my first band, so I had re-recorded it and re-recorded it over the years, and I finally just decided that, hey, it's a Superloser song, so that's been in the works now over 10 years now.
Oh, the song's pretty old.
Yeah. So
speaking of that one, I wrote down little notes for most of the songs. Things that popped out to me.
Yeah.
That one kind of had like a Mac DeMarco vibe where it had like that distorted wah production type of thing.
Oh yeah.
A little faded.
Yeah.
I like songs like that. I don't really know how to do that effect because I'm not a producer. I just play the music, you know.
Yeah.
But I've always been curious about that. Like, how do you get that sound?
There's a few different ways you can get it. Like how I got it. The driving instrument on that song is piano, and this piano I have over here in the studio is really out of tune. So it almost naturally gets that sound, like just if you put a microphone up to it. But I'll put a little bit of tape emulation on there that provided that little kind of wavy sound to it.
Yeah, I always really love that. Yeah.
A little bit of what's called ADT, artificial double tracking, really kind of helped get that song. And with the guitar tones on it, I didn't plug into an amp. I have a tape machine over here that I ran through my guitars through for about half of the tracks on this album, and this tape machine allowed me to.
And this tape machine, we're not talking about duct tape, right?
We're talking about like a straight up cassette tape. Actually, I have it. Let me grab it. It's actually right back here. Just a cheap, Tascam tape machine.
Oh, nice.
And I'll show it to the cameras here. Little Tascam Porta Studio. Show this one too, you know.
Yeah. Show it.
Shit. Yeah, it's like Price is Right here. You know. Yeah, so it's just like I plugged straight into the tape machine, and then I plugged from the tape machine out into my recording stuff in Ableton, and that's how I got a lot of guitar tones on the record. So I was able to get a really natural like distortion out of this by throwing a tape cassette in there and
just getting it.
Yeah, bumping the gain and going from there.
Yeah, would have never thought. Would have just been like, oh, I guess we're never figuring it out.
Yeah,
I'll just do something else.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I for this album, I really kind of wanted to like think outside the box a little bit for the guitar tones. Because obviously I could have done the obvious thing, just, you know, you see the Fender Twin back here, just mic up the Fender Twin.
And chilling.
Yeah, and just been chilling. But this album, I wanted to think outside the box a little bit, so I grabbed this thing and, you know, started messing around with it. Got some really cool sounds out of it. This was featured on the guitar tone on songs like It's Getting Harder.
By the way, not an innuendo, right?
No.
It's getting harder.
Yeah. But what's funny is about that song, it's like, I was listening to it the other day. Shortly after I sent you the record, actually, I was listening to it, and I was listening to the lyrics, and I was like, what is this song actually about? Because, you know, I wrote it when I was 17, so it was 10 years ago, and I went back and looked at the lyrics after I sent them to you, actually, and I realized the song was actually, like, it's one of those songs where, like, you can't tell it's a breakup song, but it's a breakup song.
Yeah, like, I got the feeling that a lot of these kind of had something to do with some type of letting go, breakup thing, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll kind of get into that a little bit later in our talk here, but that's kind of a main theme of this album, is just being able to kind of let go and just move forward, actually, rather than just stick to where you're at.
Yeah.
So
I guess that actually led me to this song, Backslide, which was my favorite. And not Backshot, Backslide. You know, it's the big ballad. You know, I kind of got the feeling of this being scared of love, but also feeling unworthy. And yeah, like I could really relate to that. You know, you just don't want to hurt your potential partner.
Yeah.
You know, you're scared of yourself to scare like other people.
Yeah. The interesting thing about that song, it's actually kind of two songs in one. The first half of it, some of my best songs I've ever written. Actually, I've written while sitting in church. Like, a couple examples of songs that I wrote while sitting in church. Cherry Soda, I wrote sitting in church.
Oh, I love that song. We played that, yeah. That was a fun song.
I was sitting in church one day, and like the melody just kind of came to my head, and you know, I think I was just driving, and there was a license plate frame that said like "Sorrow Optimistic," and it was like, oh, like, and that's the first line of the song, sort of optimistic, you know. But so songs like Cherry Soda, Green Eyed Wonder is actually something that I wrote while sitting in church, kind of. I was influenced by a friend who used to go to my church, but and this song kind of came about on a day where it was a bit of a heavier day, and I was just kind of feeling like, you know, I needed to write something to address like how I had been feeling about relationships, about how I didn't feel worthy about being in a relationship at that time because of just different things I was going through.
Me and you both, man.
Yeah.
It's a mutual feeling for everybody.
The second half of that song, actually, Time to Sleep Just for a While, that part, was actually influenced by my grandma's best friend. We had just found out that week that she had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. And so it was me kind of writing the grieving part of just like, watching somebody that you lived next door to for 28 years fade away and just, start to ascend to the great beyond, So it was just my way of saying, like, it's time to wipe the tears away. Like, we'll see her again.
Yeah. Like she was like probably more than a friend at that point.
Oh yeah, she was family.
Routine,
She was family, and just it was tough. Her demise was rather quick with the cancer that she had. It was very, very tough.
What kind of cancer was it?
So she had breast cancer that metastasized to the rest of her body, man. It was just really, really a rough battle, but she fought it the best she could, man. So when we found out, like, yeah, it's not looking good, that's when that part kind of came along.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that does make a lot more sense now with the context, because I remember telling you about that part when I first heard it, with the scream of like anguish, that pain at the end of that solo was at the end of the song.
Mm-hmm.
That's what like really got me. I had to like once I heard that, I didn't let the song finish. I had to actually, I pressed replay like a minute back just to like refill that again.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, okay, this was like something else, right?
And honestly too, like I had recorded that vocal, so I wrote the song about February time.
Okay.
And
will make sense, I guess, that time of the
that time of the year with Valentine's
sucks.
Day and just all this stuff. And then she passed away in March, and then I recorded the vocal right about it was actually a couple months later, because I did multiple takes of this vocal over time. Like I did one take in like March, and it was originally going to be like the master take, but I ended up scrapping it after I got back from Superloser's last tour. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to lay it down one more time. And so I did, and that ended up being the master take, just because, I think the events that were going on at that time in June were, more poignant at that time. So I wound up keeping that one because that's how I got it to hit. I was just fresh off the tour. I think I knew at that time, I definitely knew at that time that was Superloser's last tour. So, it was just me kind of also grieving Superloser in a way.
Yeah. I guess for everybody that doesn't know, or you could say it yourself, right?
So, Superloser has retired from touring. We do not currently do live shows. Superloser is a one-man operation. It's just me. And it's also a recording project. So, the way you can support Superloser is by going out and listening to the albums. There's One Word, which will be out November 7th. There's also the album Drift, which was released back in May of 2024. Our first album, which was Hanging On, released in June of 2023. And we also have a few different EPs that have been released over the years. So that's how you can support Superloser moving forward, just by going and listening to the record.
Yeah. I would actually like to add to that there is a single that you did drop, Solitude. Probably my favorite song from you. I remember I would listen to that on a drive in the morning to work, or even sometimes back. I really loved it. It was just that chorus line, Solitude, the dive, really nice touch.
That's another one of those songs too, man. I wrote it with my former songwriting partner when I was 16, he was 17, and it's kind of a trilogy of songs that from my first band that I got the blessing from my former members to be like, hey, let me introduce these to a new audience.
You had that at 16, 17?
Mm-hmm.
How old are you now?
I'm 28 now.
28 now, yeah. So that song's about what?
12 years old. Yeah.
A lot of musicians hold on to songs for quite a bit.
Yeah. And I think with my first band, I've always held my first band in high regard because of just the legacy that we kind of built when we were 15, 16, 17-year-old kids.
Yeah, and Superloser is the only band you've had, pretty much.
Outside of my first band, which was called Seven Codes of Bushido, yes. That first band, we practically grew up together. I always tell people, that was my Beatles, me with the other three guys, we had just this bond musically that was unmatched, and anybody who saw us back in the day, you know, they were getting something that, you know, we didn't realize how powerful it was because we were just kids. So like,
Yeah, I've seen people at your shows. I remember when I went to go watch you for the first and I guess only time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What was that spot called in West Covina?
Oh, American Legion.
Yeah, American Legion. It was a cool
Yeah.
spot. I'm used to being around vets and veterans and stuff.
Right.
Stepdad, but
Yeah.
it was cool to be in there. I'm like, oh yeah, this feels like home. And then like, you know, you had what's it called? You had Outer Blues open, which are now called Pouts.
Yes,
Pouts band.
great group,
They're
great group.
cool.
I love those guys. I met them through our former guitarist Chris Argata.
Shout out.
Yeah, they all worked at a music store together, and
Yeah, Music and Arts Center.
Yeah.
I go there for my strings
Yeah.
and everything. It's
So,
talking with them.
they all worked there together. I don't know if they all still work there. I know Chris still does, and I think
Yeah, Rye's cool. I
Yeah.
talk with them all the time.
Rye works there too, but I don't know about the other guys who still work there. But
And most of the band, other than the singer, I forgot his name.
yeah, so Chris introduced me to them through their work, and they opened for us a couple times actually, and they're
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And I know they're doing cool things now, so it's cool to see that they're doing these really cool things, man.
No,
Because
yeah,
they deserve all that recognition.
They're at Old Town Pub all the time.
Oh, dude, and they bring that perfect power pop vibe, man.
Yeah,
It has been missing for the scene for quite some time. There's another group too that, like, they bring the power pop of groups like Squeeze and Television, groups like that.
Television, like
Yeah.
the 70s band.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember Television. I heard that for the first time in Rhino Records.
Mhm.
Like they had everyone was like, "What song?
Yeah.
Is this cool?" Like,
yeah. And there's another group too. They're called the Silverados.
I've heard of them.
Another group I've been really, really digging in because they bring this mod rock vibe from groups like The Who and The Jam and Paul Weller. That
okay.
you know,
Throwback.
for me, I love those groups. Like
Mhm.
my dad's very big on those groups, and he introduced them to me. So to see a group from California embracing the mod culture is beautiful. And I've reached out to them on Instagram, being like, you know, like if I ever get around to doing shows again, I'm calling them because I would love to play with them.
Yeah.
So
Backtracking to my point.
Yeah.
I was trying to make it just when I did see you guys, back to like your audience and how they love your music. I
Yeah.
remember being there, and you know I was in my suit as usual.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of business stuff.
yeah,
But I remember you asked me to, you know, like, oh, introduce you guys. I was like, all right, I don't
it
think
was
I
because of the suit, man.
Yeah, I was like,
It's because of the
I was like,
suit.
screw it. Put a Mexican in a suit, you know.
Yeah.
But so I went up there, and usually I did my trick I do when I'm on stage, which I'll do like a middle range, like, hey, how you doing? Like, blah blah, I want to hear you, and they'll give me like but then like once I do the scream, people were like, oh, okay, like there's some energy here.
Yeah.
So like I did the taste test with your audience, and I just did the middle one. I was like, all right, how you guys fucking doing, mama?
Yeah.
And then they were just screaming already. I was like, oh, okay, I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
And then I did the scream just to like top it off, and then I did like some me being at a Home Depot joke or something. They were like, ah! And like you guys just murdered it the whole time. I saw a few
Yeah.
girls eyeing you down and stuff during the show.
Sheesh, man.
But it was a fun time.
Yeah.
I really wish I could have seen that last show you had, but that was my grandma's like I think 60th birthday the same day. So
Yeah.
we couldn't make it.
Yeah, it happens, man. It happens. Yeah, it's funny because like I think about those shows, and like some of those shows end up being like kind of just blanks. Where it's like, oh, we played there, you know.
Yeah, I
But
felt that.
I feel like every time we played the Legion Hall, shout out Adrian, like Adrian, our former guitar player. And he's on the record too. He plays lead guitar on the song Cheer Bucket. And
that's another one of my favorites.
yeah, he plays lead guitar on Tear Bucket, and he did an amazing job on that song. Like,
Yeah, the drum beats kind of got like a heartbeat thump from that.
yeah,
It
that's
sounds like
also-
Chris Isaac to
Mhm.
me, kind of like Chris Isaac vibe.
Yeah, that song also is it's the last song that features Lorenzo on drums. He did a great job with it, and we really was, when he came down to record the drums on that song, we kind of wanted to invoke just like a minimalist feel.
Mhm.
So like, I had him, like we didn't put the cymbals on the kit, we just did the kick drum and snare for that, however many bars it is.
Yeah, limit a drummer and they'll
Right.
obey.
Yeah,
For a
because
little
like
bit.
we listened to it and it was like this song doesn't really need hi-hats because you have so many other rhythmic elements. You have the acoustic guitars in there, you have the bass doing what it's doing, and there's also like keyboards and stuff underneath it that you can't really fully hear the final mix, but you know they're there. So it was like the drums just needed to be simple, you know.
Yeah.
Good old the Kiss method, keep it simple, stupid, you know.
Yeah, you gotta serve the song at the end of the day, not ego. You know, we already know like we're both drummers to some degree. I would always love to go crazy, but sometimes songs don't really need that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Especially calm ones. You know, calm ones need a certain love because you want to be soothed, and that song really does soothe.
Yeah.
It does its job.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll take a little break from talking from the album. I did want to ask this. I like what Sammy Hagar does on his show.
Yeah.
He'll do this thing called This or That. I'll just call this or twat. But pretty much, you know, I noticed this is always a question he'd ask, where it'd be like Beatles or the Stones. When in reality, you can't really. That's like comparing strawberries to oranges. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
So I got an even better one. It's one of your favorite bands, Beatles or Beach Boys, because that makes more sense because they are actually not mad at each other, but still at odds artistically.
Yeah.
Well, who would you choose?
Oh, gosh, man, that's like trying to ask me, like, you know,
Beatles or Beach Boys?
That's like that's trying to ask me like who's my favorite student. That's my day job. It's like,
I'm sure Brian Wilson would get mad.
I mean, Brian Wilson, God rest his soul, man. Like, well, the way I look at it, man, is like with the Beach Boys, they have such an extensive catalog, and almost to a degree, you can't compare the Beatles with the Beach Boys either. But they had that period there from about '64 when the Beatles got really big here in America to about '67, even a little bit of '68. Where like they were right neck and neck, and
they're on each other.
Yeah,
that's why I chose them instead of the Stones, because I feel like they're in a whole different category.
Yeah, and if I had to pick just solely based off the music catalog, I'd go Beach Boys. Because
the answer to that.
Yeah, because simply put, with the Beach Boys, like you could be listening to them and listening to like their classic like Surfin' Safari or like Surfer Girl or any of those. And yeah, with the water, you know, the waves coming up.
Yeah.
Or
I felt like a surfer girl right now.
Yeah. Or you can even go deeper in their catalog, or you go listen to their 1970 album Sunflower, and like you have elements of dream pop in there. You have
like the pre.
Yeah.
What was gonna
like
come.
You have elements of dream pop in there, or even. You go back to like albums like Smiley Smile. As weird as a record is to the outside world, you listen to it and it's like, oh my gosh, they're onto something. Like
you know, back then, like how out of thought they were.
Right.
So
they went back to basics. Like they beat the Beatles to like what they were doing on the White Album by like a year and a half. So it's like
to do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like the Beatles went back to basics on the White Album and did some crazy stuff like Revolution 9, but the Beach Boys were doing you know, like Little Pad in Hawaii, which has some really trippy songs on, like just really trippy stuff, man. So yeah,
so you're on like the psychedelic side a little bit. To
yeah,
more creative.
Yeah.
All right, next one: Elvis or Little Richard.
Now you see, if you were to ask Elvis that question, he wouldn't say Little Richard, he'd say Fats Domino.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
Blue Monday.
Yeah. I'm walking. Yeah. I do. It's funny because in more recent years, I've had more reverence for Little Richard.
Yeah, he's a badass.
Oh yeah, like straight up, like not only is he an amazing piano player, but he just had like he influenced a generation of singers from Paul McCartney to like further down, like Axl Rose, Paul Stanley, all those guys that are out there doing the high pitched, you know, scream type stuff. They wouldn't be doing it without Little Richard.
Definitely influenced me too a lot.
Right, but with Elvis, man, he's literally like, he's a hero, man. Like he's like a superhero. He's just like, he's got this aura to him that's unmatched. Like,
he's white. So.
I wasn't gonna say that. But...
Ale never fails.
Oh my gosh! But oof, in that one, because I mean that's.
You just say Elvis.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Elvis because.
And
then when I was growing up, if people ask me what I want to be when I grow up, I'd say Elvis. It's like I still want to be Elvis when I grow up.
Shit. We're still growing up.
Yeah.
All right, leg day or arm day?
Ooh, leg day.
Leg day. Oh damn!
Leg day.
You might be a serial killer. I would not choose that.
Hey, man.
Touring or recording?
Recording.
Recording. Yeah, we always choose the recording.
As a retired, you know, touring artist, recording, especially because I think a lot of artists have lost sight that the recording studio is just as much an instrument as your actual instrument. So I would much rather expand. And I mean, I guess that's a whole other topic in general. Is just how the scene, or just rock and roll, or just whatever music genre you want to call it, rock and roll, indie, whatever, has lost sight of the fact that we're called as musicians to continue to innovate, even if it seems like everything's already been done.
Yeah, I still think we're not necessarily scraping the barrel, but there's still tons of stuff to do.
Right.
I mean, thanks to all the effects and then different, tunings you can try out and experiment. There's still
Yeah,
tons of stuff.
that's what I love about these groups like American Football or like Pine Grove or just those kind of Midwest emo groups, is that they're not afraid to experiment with those tunings. Same with like the math rock people. It's like I don't listen to those groups like religiously.
Yeah, math rock, or as everyone else calls them, virgin rock.
Yeah,
just
but
kidding, guys.
I just I can appreciate that music because they're not afraid to experiment with tunings or experiment with different time signatures, stuff that.
And that's respect right there. Now that actually do that.
Yeah, it's like a modern form of jazz, really.
And you're respecting your audience because you're like, we know you're not dumb. We know you can appreciate more than
right.
Just basic, song structure, A B A B.
Yeah.
A.
Yeah. You don't need a bunch of diary music like Taylor Swift or Sabrina Carpenter. No offense.
Shots fired.
But that's always what I think of it as. It's just diary music.
Sabrina's my girl, though. I love you. Call me. And then lastly, solo or band?
I feel like it depends on the season of life I'm in. I think in my last season of life, just where I've been with my career outside of music, with my faith walk, with different elements of my life, my family, it's been more of a solo act because of just, life. But there is seasons where I do love being in a band, and I love being able to collaborate with people. Even if it doesn't work out to be like full-on collaboration, it just, it's for a season. I still love being able to collaborate with people and, make something happen.
So temporarily band when you can put up with it, and then solo just when you want to keep your head on straight.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah. Well, I guess that'll take us to our next thing, because you brought up family as well as your faith and stuff. I did actually want to ask, does your faith and what religion you're a Christian?
I'm a Christian, yeah.
Christian. So when it comes to being a Christian, does that affect how you write music or your outlook on how you write now, or at all?
Yeah, it definitely does. The thing with my music, and this is what I've told a lot of people, is like I don't consider my music to be like outwardly Christian music. Like, I'm a Christian, and I'm a firm believer that we should, as Christians, we should be outwardly expressing our faith that Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, and that He died on the cross for all of us. But I feel like just in the scene that we live in the world we live in, that people a lot of these days have a lot of hurt towards Christianity and Christians, because you get a lot of those Bible thumping Christians that are judgmental towards people in our scene, and that's never how I've operated. I've always operated with a sense of respect for anybody who doesn't see my way. I still love them, because that's what God would want us to do, is love one another just like we love the church. But I think it's definitely influenced the way I write, because in my music I don't cuss. I don't try to bring any type of nonchalant lyrics or anything like that. I think at the root of all my music is love, and that's the root of Christ, is love.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. A lot of people, even if it sounds like it's angry music, it's really about love.
Yeah.
Because that anger is getting out.
And the thing is, anger is a good emotion to have, but it's what you produce from that anger that leads it to be not from Christ. So like, I could be angry writing a song about, people, or let me put it this way. I could be angry about a song that's about a breakup I had, but I'm not going to go out there with my anger and, totally diss a person because we're no longer together. I'm going to still wish them the best, and if anything, that anger is a reflection of how I'm feeling. It's not a reflection of them. It's not a reflection of how I feel about them. It's about what I'm going through, and sometimes the best way to do that is to write about it and just to release it.
Yeah, I felt that. I'm in that same boat. Or not even half. Like most of my record, it's like based off my ex to some degree, but it's not even how I feel about her. It's about how I felt about myself.
Right. Which is ironic to me, because I've been single now since 2022. So, I feel like a lot of my songs that I write, even if it's about a breakup, it tends to be like me putting myself in someone else's shoes, and I've done that a lot on Superloser records. Like Peony, one of those songs is like Peony talks about like falling in love with somebody, and I co-wrote Peony with Chris Argueta, and he had the riff, and I wrote the lyrics and the melody, and I based it off his experience with meeting his now fiance for the first time, and just bringing her flowers and having that feeling arise.
Oh, nice.
So that's one of those songs where I had to put myself in his shoes and be like, okay, like what was he going, like what would I think he's going through his head, you know?
Yeah.
Or like Green Eyed Wonder, that's another one of those songs where it's like, yeah, Green Eyed Wonder expresses love, but I didn't write it in a way that was like a romantic way to that person. I wrote it with the lens of, okay, how do I see her along with everybody else in a way that shows her that love? And it doesn't have to even be in a romantic way. It can just be in a way that, just lifts them up and encourages them. So like obviously the first part of that song is the question, like Green Eyed Wonder, do you get them from your darling mother? You know? Mm-hmm. So it's me throwing in words that can be associated as a love song, but
because that'd be like a flirt in a way, at least most places. But it's all context and how you say it, people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't talk to the girl who Green Eyed Wonder is about anymore. She used to go to my church, and she doesn't anymore. But
her loss.
But I still wish her well. I don't, like I said, I don't make an effort to reach out to her. Like that's not.
You don't wish. You wish her well.
Oh yeah.
You can wish she fell on a well too.
No. Absolutely not.
Let's see, where are we at on this thing? Okay, so I want to make sure we're gonna try answering questions.
Yeah.
Who did the artwork for the record?
That was Jamie Soleimani. They are an amazing, multi-talented artist, not just on the artwork front, but on the musical front. They have two projects. The first one's called Clown Lung, which is an indie group, and they have another amazing project called Glorbo. And Glorbo. They do a lot of stuff in like Riverside area, and some amazing tunes that they have written. And fun fact about Jamie too, they actually played with Superloser at one point on one of our singles that we released back in 2021. It was actually our first release as Superloser, because before we were Superloser, we were the Loose Lips, and then we changed the name. And
now it's the name of EP too, right? The Loose Lips.
Who are the Loose Lips? Yeah.
Good EP.
Yeah. So the first single that we released, the Superloser, was called Again and Again, and Jamie played lead guitar on there. So that guitar solo is them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Yeah, not bad, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. Go shout out to Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie. Yeah. Love you.
Yeah. Has anyone ever? Because this is what I get whenever I heard you sing, and I've obviously played a show with you. Mm-hmm. A long time ago, he did invite me to play bass with him for a show.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy because I didn't know you were going to improv on Cherry Soda at the end. I just kept going. I was like, no, we're going to keep going until we stop.
And that was on our very first tour, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That was all the way back in 2023.
Yeah, what venue was that? It was pretty far.
That was at like a bowling alley in Simi Valley. It was a last minute invite by some groups out that way. And it was a really good show. I enjoyed it.
It was in Simi Valley. That's where that's where you took me? Because I was like,
going
to drive out there.
I think we all carpool, like you be.
Yeah, I was in the car.
I think the drummer, Sean Yee. Yeah. Shout out Sean Yee. He's an amazing drummer.
He's a badass.
Yeah, I think we all carpooled.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah, and we all piled in my little Honda Civic and we went.
Yeah, it was a good show. Had a good time.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say that like your voice, like it's always reminded me of the Pixies. Always just got that vibe, and I think there's even a song on here that I wrote down that sounded like Pixies. Oh yeah, Indie Girl actually gave me a light Pixie vibe.
Yeah, Indie Girl is one of those interesting songs that kind of came about. It was I had this just instrumental loop like that I had played just on my computer, just chilling. Like I wasn't gonna do anything with it. It was just I played it for fun. Like I played it to people. Hey, listen to this, and just played it, and it was just like and I meant it as just some kind of cheesy gag type music. Like that's the type of music, like if I was working on a TV show or doing another film soundtrack, like that's the music I would put in like a cheesy like.
It's like an '80s sitcom
intro. or just like
or Brothers.
Or just like those like cheesy like coming of age films where it's like you're getting ready for prom and like you're trying to find like the right fit for prom. And like that's the music that's playing over the montage of you going to the shops and like trying on different outfits and your best friend's just standing in front of it. Ugh, that's not it, you know?
Yeah, oh, like, but it's all quiet.
yeah, like there's no like dialogue just being said. It's literally just like you and the bestie just like going around. Yeah. So I had that just chilling for a little bit. And
you know, speaking of the road trip song you're saying, honestly, I got those vibes from Outsiders. The guitar riff was pretty good, and I liked how it would switch from like a halftime beat.
Yeah.
And during the solo, I was like, ah.
That's another track too that Lorenzo's on drums for. He's only on drums for 2 of the tracks on the record, and the rest of the drums are me.
Nice. He plays drums, ladies.
Yeah. And with that track in particular, that's another one that had been sitting for a couple years. At least the riff had been sitting for a couple years. I wrote the riff. We had a free day on our first tour, and we went to Sweetwater in Indiana. And I was playing this PRS guitar through like not even a Vox. It was a Roland jazz chorus.
Oh wow.
And I was sitting there just noodling, and the riff came out. So I put my phone down. And I already kind of pre-selected the name because it sounded like something like out of the Outsiders. It was like doom, 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 doom. So I recorded that riff, and then I played it for Lorenzo like when we got back, and we were just sitting in here, and he just started doing some floor tom stuff. So I recorded another version of the demo, and with him on drums, just me on guitar, and just that became like the main like foundation of it. And the lyrics, I had a period when I wrote the lyrics where I was just really into Bruce Springsteen.
Who isn't it? The Boss?
Yeah, and it kind of reminded me of just like his 80s period, like Born of the USA, like, Can't Start a Fire.
Yeah.
Dancing in the Dark, that's what his name is.
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, so it was just like my moment of just having like that kind of Dancing in the Dark type moment where like,
honestly,
when it goes to halftime, it could easily be a sax solo.
Yeah. Yeah, now you point that out, I could definitely hear.
Yeah, I remember showing the demo to like Adrian, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, this sounds like Springsteen." You know.
You gonna watch the movie?
I probably will. Yeah. I probably won't go see it in the theater, but it's definitely one of those movies that looks interesting.
No, yeah. Out of all the biopics, I feel like that one was one. I was like, you know what? I want to know more about that.
Yeah.
I've only dug so much.
I finally gave in and watched the Bob Dylan biopic.
It was alright.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I think the best biopic that anybody could have done was the Brian Wilson one, Love and Mercy.
Oh, dude, I love that one.
Paul Dano did an amazing job as Brian.
Oh, yeah, and
what was the other dude's John name? Cusack played older Brian, which at first it's like, oh, why'd they pick John Cusack? But honestly, he nailed it.
Yeah, it's pretty
solid. He nailed it. Yeah, one of his most underrated performances, I would say.
No, yeah. I remember him more from just Say Anything, because I'm a hopeless romantic. So, like, I just hold in a boombox with some girls.
Or for me, I like him in the movie Grosse Point Blank. That's one of my favorite movies, actually.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's him and Minnie Driver. She plays the love interest, and yeah, it's a good movie. I highly recommend checking it out.
I'll probably end up doing that then.
Yeah.
What was it? Like Hot Tub Time Machine? Also, I love that one.
Oh, I heard they're making a sequel on that one.
They already have a second one.
Yeah.
The third one?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
We'll see with the culture. Can't really make jokes anymore.
Mm.
But I want to ask you. I always ask all of my musician friends this, or even new people I meet.
Yeah.
At shows. What's your best and worst show, and what happened?
Ooh.
What made it great, and what's the other one that made it bad?
Are you talking like most recent shows, or are you talking like
just in
the general sense? Okay.
Your discography of shows you've done.
I'm gonna start with my worst.
Okay.
So the worst show I ever had was actually on our last tour.
Okay.
We were in Phoenix, Arizona, and it was the day Brian Wilson died. We had just driven from California to Arizona. It's a 6-hour drive from, here in the music studio to the venue. And, I was bummed out that Brian Wilson died.
Mm-hmm. This was like 2-3 months ago now, right?
This was in June.
June.
So the first half of June. So bummed out Brian Wilson died. We had just driven 6 hours, so we were pretty tired.
Mm-hmm.
It's Arizona in June, so it's...
Oh, yeah, it's not cold.
It's quite the opposite.
Yeah.
So it's like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and it's still 105.
Sorry, I decided to walk outside.
Right, it's like, especially in this jacket,
Right.
Yeah, so it's like we're we're I'm sweating like a pig. I'm dying outside, and yeah. So you have all those elements, and on top of that, we get to the venue, and we're actually supposed to stay at like the owner of the venue's house.
Oh wow.
And one of the other guys we were playing with, the band that they're in, good friends, a band called Scenic Screw Ups. Their frontman walks up to me. He's like, "Yo, dude, like, you don't want to stay at that house. It's like really sketch." So I'm already like thinking, "Oh crap! Like, what is gonna happen? Like, are we gonna like get like roofied or like whatever? Like, the scenario rolls through your head. And it's like, oh crap, what's gonna happen?
The possibility.
Yeah. So I wind up booking. I was fortunate enough to find a hotel in the area that was cheap, so I booked it, and so we didn't have to worry about that. But I had to eat $90 because on those type of tours we try to split everything as equally as possible. But
it's rough out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wound up just eating $90 on it, and so that happened, and then we get to the show itself, and we get inside, and everybody's doing great so far, and we get into the song Lila, and Lila starts off with just bass and drums, and I'm playing the song, it's going fine, and my guitar I was using, it was my endorsement guitar, the red Rapier 33. The bridge on that thing, like the saddles on it, if I strummed too hard, if I had like a lighter gauge string on there, which I did, I was playing 10s at the time, which for those who don't know, 10s are considered a regular gauge for electric, and so it's middle of the road for those guitar nerds out there. So the low E string kept popping out of the saddle, and I'd have to fix it mid-song, and we were, at this point on this tour, or this portion of the tour, we were 3-piece. So it was just me, Lorenzo, and then Nick Montel on bass. And so I'm trying to fix it, and I can't fix it because if I drop out, like, it's totally empty. It's just bass and drums.
Oh, yeah.
So
you're the only one playing guitar?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm playing guitar, and then it happens again, like in the middle of the song. So I go pretty much to the end of the song, I stop playing that low E, and at the end of the song, there's like this freak out section where I usually throw on my distortion and just like let it feed back, and I do some solo stuff. And I decided to do what I usually do at the end of the show and throw my delay on and like throw my guitar down. And I go to throw my guitar down. I don't think I realized how hard I threw it. And I throw my guitar down and I snap the neck.
Oh,
so
that was the only guitar you had on you?
Well, I had, fortunately, on every tour, and this is, I guess, a piece of advice for touring musicians, always bring a backup guitar.
Yeah.
Always bring a backup guitar, even if it's,
And underwear.
Yeah. But I throw down the guitar, the neck snaps, everybody in the audience just stops, and they're like, whoa.
The show's done.
And they think the show's done, and I'll be like, sorry guys, I gotta run to my car. So I'm running to my car, and I have my backup in the back of the car. It's actually that down Electro up there was the backup for the entire tour, but it became the main after I broke that guitar. I still have the neck down here, actually. Let me pull it here.
He's not bullshitting, guys.
So, yeah, this is just the neck of that guitar. The headstock's somewhere down there too. The guitar itself is in the possession of a friend of mine who has a young son who's trying to learn. So they don't have this neck. There's another neck on that guitar that is not like this. So
we should put that up on the Haven wall in Pomona. There's a bunch of broken stuff up on there.
Yeah. So it wound up being. So I run to the truck, grab that. I jammed my thumb somehow, like when I was throwing down the guitar, and so I'm like thinking to myself, oh crap, did I break my thumb? And I'm like, I guess the adrenaline. I'm running to the car and to go get the guitar, and I didn't feel the pain in my thumb at first, and then once I stopped running, I feel this shot of pain like through my thumb, and I'm like screaming, like it's that bad. So I run back in, grab the guitar, didn't even tune it. I just start playing, and the next song on the set was Drift. And I guess Lorenzo, I only had one set list and I had written it by hand and it was just on the monitor in front of me. And Lorenzo was like, Dylan, I can't see the set. And I had said to him, I was like, you don't need to see the set. Like, I'm calling out the songs. So, like, that ended up ticking him off because I guess I had said it in a tone that wasn't really nice.
Well, yeah, I mean, you probably wouldn't be in a good mood.
Right,
You
and
stubbed your thumb, guitar's broken.
Yeah,
just,
so
you
I
ran back in the fucking thing.
Yeah, I was also, I think it was just in a moment type thing where I didn't realize how I was saying it. So, that ended up setting off the mood a little bit. And then after the show, he comes up to me, he's yelling at me. And he's like, oh, okay, like, you know, whatever. You know, we kiss and make up at the end of the show and we go about our way. But, yeah, so I would say that was our worst show by far of just, you know, breaking the guitar. And actually, the broken guitar picture is actually the cover photo for the single Tear Bucket.
Oh,
so
okay,
that photo was taken by somebody at the show while I was running to go get the other guitar. I had left it plugged in, like, on the ground.
so there's still, like, noise?
Well, yeah, I had a tuner pedal, so I probably turned on the tuner pedal and just ran off stage to go to get the guitar. And somebody had the clever idea of snapping the picture. So
That's smart.
Yeah.
Well, good thing we all have iPhones and shit now, so we can document everything.
Yeah. So, but then, let's see, best show.
Best show, yeah.
The best show. Ooh. I can think of probably two.
Give me the best.
Best show was probably in El Paso, Texas on our second U.S. tour supporting Drift.
Drift isn't a band, it's their album.
Right, it was the album. And the crowd was just electric. It was a room like way smaller than this, and it was narrow. Like, think of like DBA, but like cut it off like right where the stage starts. Like, it's that small of a room.
Even smaller.
Yeah, and like we get there, and there's all these kids outside, and these kids probably don't look any older than 16, 17, maybe even younger. I don't know, but
did they have guns?
No, it was El Paso, Texas, so
not
necessarily a gun.
Or
Yeah. So we get there, and there's all these people outside, and then we pull up wearing our California attire, which is like button-down shirts. I was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, and
did they think you were like tourists or anything? Like
no, they thought we were cops. Like,
seriously, like Magnum PI.
Yeah, they thought we were like undercover cops trying to blend in with these kids, but like they didn't realize. Oh no, this is the band who came from California to come play.
They're undercover cops.
Yeah,
like 21 Jump Street.
We're gonna bust them after the show.
Hi, younglings.
Yeah,
we're entertainers.
How you do, fellow kids?
Hides badge.
Yeah. So, but no, we get on the play and like. Kids are just all up on the stage. Like it was amazing. Like
that's the best. When
yeah,
they're up there with you.
And they're just up there and they're vibing and they're loving it. And there's this little girl who was standing up in the front, just like goo eyes the entire time. It was really sweet. And she came up to me after. She got a tour poster and she said, "Can you sign my poster?" And I'm like, oh, yeah. I hadn't signed an autograph like that for like somebody who actually asked me. Like it was for like promo that we would do autographs. Like. Something that we did when we were on tour, and I made sure, just as a courtesy to the venues that we played or like the promoters we worked with, is if we were on tour, I'd get a tour poster and we'd all sign it just as a thank you to the venue, and we'd give it to them. But I had never signed anything like that for a person, and she just happened to say like, "Oh, like, can you sign this for me?" So I did.
That was a great feeling.
Oh yeah, and she was a very sweet kid. She's watching Marley, like seriously, like shout out. Yeah, good old Marley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's always cool to do that. I know I've been listening to a lot more podcasts on like Lizzie Hale and stuff, and she talked about like appreciation of your fans and you make the time when you can to actually like show love when they're giving you love.
Yeah.
That could break somebody.
Yeah, and
being in a bad mood.
I've always looked at it as like like it's cool to have those interactions with people because you don't realize like how valuable it is to them sometimes, and how valuable it is to yourself.
Yeah.
Because
I
don't write these songs or do what I do to like please anybody, but like if people dig it, that's cool. If they don't dig it, that's cool too. It's like I genuinely enjoy connection. So and music has an ability to do that when words can't.
Yeah, it goes where, words cannot explain.
Exactly.
And it makes you feel things,
Exactly.
Feel butterflies and, butter inside your butt. I guess we'll end it on this note. For when it comes back to this album, to circle back to this.
Yeah.
What do you want people, whoever does end up liking it or just wants to give it a shot, what do you want them to take away from this record? Like, what's the overall theme and what do you hope they gain from this?
I think the overall theme of the record is just being able to be comfortable with letting go. With being okay with change. That change doesn't mean it's the end of something. Sometimes it is, but a lot of the times it isn't. It's just one door closing and another one opening. So I think on this record specifically, there's a lot of just moments where it's me realizing that, like, things look different now for Superloser, especially with, like, we're not touring. It's really a one-man operation, and even to a degree, it's like perhaps I've kind of retired from doing Superloser in a way, but it's also like there's a new door opening. Like, Superloser's not necessarily done, but it's also not, it's not going to be the same, So I think the overall theme of the record and what I want people to kind of take away from it is that it's okay to change. It's okay to embrace change. And I think a lot of good things come from when you're uncomfortable and accepting change.
Yeah. So pretty much don't be afraid of things changing.
Yeah.
The sun will go down, but it'll come back up at some point.
Yeah. And I think with that too, it's just, I think so many artists are afraid to get outside of their comfort zone. They find something they like and they want to stick with it. Like Kevin Parker, Tame Impala, did a podcast recently. I think it was with Zane Lowe, and he was talking about how, because he just released his record, Deadbeat, really good record. He released it on my birthday actually. And
that was planned. He knew.
He's like, oh, that Superloser guy, it's his birthday. I better drop something.
Just for him.
Yeah. But he was saying, he could easily go out there and write another The Less I Know the Better or another Elephant, but he's already done that. He wants to evolve and change with every record, and I admire that so much because he's one of those dudes. I've listened to him since his MySpace days, like 2008 when he was first dropping stuff, and he was always getting the John Lennon comparison or just like, oh, he's the new Beatles, like all those comparisons. So it's like, I look at it as it's okay to embrace change. It's okay to, do things that people might not agree with, but at the end of the day, that doesn't matter because you're finding a way to express yourself that is uniquely you in the way that, God created you.
Yeah.
So
it's like don't mind being a stranger in a strange land, but just don't be a stranger, which is one of your songs, and you said that to people. Don't be a stranger. Acknowledge me as I acknowledge you.
Yeah. I think, and it's funny with Don't Be a Stranger, originally that was actually going to be the title of the record.
Yeah, I thought so from one of your posts.
Yeah, and it was originally going to be the title of the record because it was supposed to be the last record. And it was just going to be like a send-off record. And perhaps it still kind of is. I don't really want to think of it as like, oh, like Superloser's done, because I did share that. It was like, Superloser's no longer active and, just thank you, basically. And I think I did that out of impulse in a way that was like, Superloser doesn't have to be done. Like, I don't have, it doesn't have to be my number one priority, but like, I don't have to please anybody with it. I can come back tomorrow and say, hey, Nick, hey, Timmy Dodd, hey, fill in the blank of guitarist here, Scott Jurgens or Chris Argata. Let's get together and rehearse a little bit, maybe go do a show or two. Or be like...
you have no one setting any rules for you. So
right, it's like, hey, I'll wake up one morning and be like, hey, I feel like recording a song. I think this is going to be a Superloser song. So it's like, I don't need to answer to anybody anymore. And I think that was something that I battled with during that time from about that June 30th post when I said Superloser's no longer active to about the time I re-shared that, Superloser's back, but it's back to the way it used to be, where it was just me and, not a live group. So, I don't look at it as I have to answer to anybody. I don't have to answer to the however many followers we have. And I've also learned too, it's like follower counts, like Spotify count, none of that crap matters at the end of the day. You know, like I think it's so easy to get your ego stroked by that and just have it build this false image of yourself where it's like that's not where your value is, you know. My value isn't into how many people follow the Superloser Instagram. My value isn't into how many people have streamed the album or any of the other tunes on Spotify or Apple Music or Tidal or whatever streaming service people listen on. My value is in, you know, how God sees me, how I operate from day to day as a man and with my family, with my friends, the people I love and care about. And yeah, Superloser's always going to be there, but it's not always going to be the number one priority. You know,
number one priority is yourself.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that everyone watching can take that away from this too. Yourself comes first, regardless of whomever. But yeah, take care of your family and your friends, and don't be afraid to change. And ultimately, love yourself and take care of business.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say to all the fans out there?
Thanks for listening. This is probably the first and maybe the only form of promo that I've been doing for this record. And just thank you for being willing to have me on.